products. We've got our fair share of toys in the garage, and we want them to not only...
Hello, Drift fans, and welcome to Orlando Speed World. Playing host to the second round of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship at Orlando Speed World. This is the Advanced Auto Parts Scorched, presented by Fast Orange. We already have one round in the books, and we have, including this one, 7 more to go. We are back here. I'm Jared Deanna. Joining me once again, Ryan Sage. Ryan, Long Beach, what a great way to kick off the 15th season of the Formula Drift Championship.
Yeah, it's amazing to say that and already here at round 2, but it was really fireworks in round 1, both literally and figuratively. The big story of the weekend was Federico here going into the wall, but before that he had a suspension damage that caused a fire leak, or excuse me, a gas leak that ignited. Now, he was able to get out of the car safe, but the vehicle did sustain heavy damage both cosmetically and mechanically. However, he was able to pull all things together, get out here this weekend, and he will be competing.
All right, so glad to see him back out here, and all smiles. All smiles last round. Matt Kaufman loved what he did. When he shows up in all spades. Just a phenomenal driver. But Peter Vincic, who's our most recent winner from last year in Irwindale, comes back with authority.
Well, the Worthhout boys definitely have been continuing the momentum, both James Dean and Peter Vincic. But as you said, Peter seemed to be the guy to beat. He had just that near flawless run. Many people thought it was a 100-point run in qualifying. He looked strong throughout the event with very little troubles. But the Worthhouse guys are trying to go back-to-back, taking on the world's best.
So you saw Alec Honadale and James Dean get into it right there. You can see that's where James Dean broke apart. Kind of an interesting event there. But Frederick Osbo, second place overall last year. He comes back with a brand new car. He goes against Peter Vincic. Osbo showing you really why he wants to step up and get that overall championship.
Well, Osbo for me really is reminiscent of just a pure athlete, somebody that peaks in competition at the right time. And he did just that. He gave the judges a little bit more every single run, found his way into the finals against a surging Forrest Wayne coming back after a year off, who had the style and the impact, but it was Frederick Osbo who would take the edge overall.
It was just dotting the I's and crossing the T's for Frederick Osbo that got him, and he was all smiles. He got to the top of the box and showing you truly why he is one of the best drifters in the world, and he wants to get and regain that championship that he once held. So, well, we're talking about Long Beach. We are here at Orlando Speed World for second round. Today it's all about qualifying. So let's take a short break. When we come back, sitting in this chair will be Ryan Lontaine.
Can I help you?
Do you have a replacement for this oxygen sensor?
Oh, yeah. Watch this. Hey, Rick, what do you think?
Zirconium dioxide, 5-wire. Yeah, we got that. That's part number 24302.
What aisle?
Third.
Shelf?
Second. From the bottom.
That's like a superpower. Like a strange and specific superpower.
I heard that.
Let me get that for you.
Thank you, Rick.
You're welcome.
Quality parts?
Helpful people.
That's Napa know-how.
All right, we're back here with Judge Ryan Lantain, also the third member of our commentary team for today, talking about qualifying. Ryan, let's get right into it. Tomorrow, the main competition. Today is qualifying. So what can the fans expect from the event format?
So today we're looking at 2 laps. They're non-consecutive, so they're going to be running in order from bottom to top of the driver's list, and then they'll do their second lap afterwards. They're going to get a score for each run, and they're going to keep the higher of the 2 scores, and then those 32 drivers will move on to head-to-head competition. Ties are broken according to the lower qualifying score.
And one of the things that fans might notice that is slightly different from last year is how you guys have laid out the points and also how the track map looks. So let's take a look at the track map and give us an understanding of how you guys are doing scoring.
So scoring this year is a little bit different. Like you said, the line and angle judges are going to be looking only in the outside zones and at the inside clips. As you can see in the yellow areas right there is where the line and angle judges will be concentrating. The blue areas are where the style judge will be looking. So the style judge will be looking, as you can see, from start all the way up to the initiation point to make sure that the car is at angle properly and the transitions are done properly all the way throughout the course. So everywhere that's blue there is sort of in between the scored areas, and that's where we're really looking for the style.
One of the things that we talk a lot about, in particular with tandem judging, because it's so important, is where drivers should be keeping fluid momentum, but also where other drivers, particularly chase drivers, can expect a deceleration or a drop in momentum. We used to call this the acceleration-deceleration map. I think we're just calling it the decel map now. Explain that.
So looking at this decel map, anywhere you see those red hash marks is where we would expect a car to slow down. It doesn't mean that the driver has to slow down in that area. It's an area where the chase car should be expecting the lead driver to maybe make a slight decel in that area, maybe a handbrake pull or a left foot brake, something in there that will actually physically slow the car down. And this is so that we can have closer tandem all the way throughout the track. If the lead driver does a move that slows the car down anywhere else on the track and something occurs, they will be held responsible for that. And we're actually using this in qualifying now. We're being pretty strict with it. We think it's very important, and it leads to great tandem battles.
I think a lot of people have noticed some of the minute but important changes that you guys have made. One in particular, last year and in years prior, we used IFC, initiation, fluidity, and commitment. This year we've dropped the I, and we have fluidity and commitment making up style. So just talk a little bit about what that means and how that plays into not only qualifying but just overall judging.
So the fluidity of a vehicle will deal with the rotation of the car on its own axis. So if you think about the car rotating as it transitions, how smooth and how fluid that car is as it goes through those motions. So right from initiation, the style judge will be looking at that. He'll be looking at the transitions. What we're looking for is the rate to angle, so that the car transition quickly. Also, when it reached the angle that the driver was hoping for, is it the right amount of angle? Did the driver have to take angle out because he over-rotated, or does he have to add more angle because he didn't add enough to begin with? And then that goes for the whole entirety of the course in those blue sections that we were looking at. The commitment side of things is the vehicle's forward motion. How well is the driver building momentum and maintaining momentum throughout the course? And we're looking at getting back on throttle immediately after initiation, so as soon as possible, and then maintaining pace throughout the entirety of the course. Approaching the track edges and any walls with confidence as well, kind of making it look a little bit risky. And the best example I can give anybody is Irwindale last year with Piotr Wicek going into outside zone 2. Every time you'd think, oh, he's not going to make it, but he made it and made it look amazing. So that's the level of driving we're looking for here. And in practice today, we're seeing a lot of that. So it's going to be a good show.
And when you're a driver and you're doing things that look risky, you're really pushing the limits, you want to give the drivers a very wide boundary so they're not worried about getting a zero, what we used to call an incomplete. But we still do have a list of those for qualifying, so let's talk about that.
Yeah, we do need to have some things that are going to be considered an incomplete right off the bat, and that's spinning out. That's a total loss of control, obviously. Drifting in the opposite direction that a car should be drifting at any point on the track, clearly also a loss of control in a great way. And then a hood, hatch, trunk, enter doors, anything that's latchable, opening up on track, which can be considered really distracting or dangerous for the chase car. And we've applied that rule to qualifying as well to make it fair and even all the way through the event.
All right, well, thank you, Ryan. We are here at the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. This is round 2, and this is the Advanced Auto Parts Scorched presented by Fast Orange. Up next is qualifying.
What's up, everyone?
Hey, how y'all doing out there? Thanks for joining us. We are live here at Orlando Speed World doing a bit of track maintenance as the track workers are cleaning up some of the tire debris, as Ryan likes to say, little debris up there on the bank. So we're going to clear that out, and we'll be continuing with the action here. We've already seen a lot of practice from these drivers. A few of them getting to the wall. Most notably, I'd say Chelsea Denofa. He went to the wall early in our practice, but hopefully he'll get his car back together and up to snuff. Also, if you haven't downloaded the Formula Drift app, I definitely encourage you to do that because we have a bunch of giveaways, a bunch of really cool things going on, live scoring alerts and stats, exclusive FD content, as you can see, breaking news alerts, notifications, free live stream, ability to buy tickets for future events, the new FD Fan Rewards program, which I'm going to actually give you a code in a moment, exclusive games and contests, special video features. So right now, if you go to the app and plug in FDRD2, as in Formula Drift Round 2, you're going to receive 100 points, and that's going towards that FD Fan Rewards program. So FDRD2, download the app, you'll get 100 points, and it'll go towards your allotment of points and rewards. So again, FDRD2. Now, keep the giving away, or keep the giving away stuff going here. MagnaFlow. Win a free MagnaFlow exhaust. Text MF Drift to 555-888. So got some downtime. I see your phones out there in your hands. Can't wait for the action to begin. Win a free MagnaFlow exhaust. Text MF, as in MagnaFlow, Drift to 555-888. All right, so again, we are just finalizing some small details here. Looks like getting the tire debris blown down off the course. Also join the conversation. Hashtag FDORL. And again, tag us at Formula D. Again, FDORL. We are about to begin qualifying here at round 2. The Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. So when we come back, we will have our first driver on the starting line. A debut of a new car. You'll have to find out when we come back here at round 2 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. the Orlando Speed World track, and I teased you really quick there by saying that we had a debut of a new car, but unfortunately I understand he's having some issues. But Taylor Hull debuting a new car, his Cadillac ATS, unfortunately had some knocking, so we didn't see him at round 1. All right, so our first vehicle here for qualifying is another vehicle we didn't see at Long Beach. This is Dean Carney, and talking to him right before we started qualifying, or during the halftime break, and not the halftime break, but before qualifying, I was talking with him. Brand new car, new suspension setup. He's turbocharged versus supercharged, different everything. I mean, it might be a Viper, but quite a different setup than he's been running over the past few years. So the Oracle Lighting Dodge Viper on Achilles tires will have his way with this track. And we will be kicking off again. Formula Drift Orlando, hashtag FDORL. We are live as Dean Carney, one of the few Irishmen here in competition, initiates nice and high on the bank. Look at that, turning and burning. Dean Carney, well played up there on the Green Monster. Now into that crossover, you got the 2 front clips, and then massages it to that outside zone, filling all of it. Good fluidity and commitment. Talking about that style, Ryan, I should say the Ryans, right before we kicked everything off. Let's take a look at this again, but a great first run for Dean Carney.
Yeah, you know, it's got to be disappointing to miss that first round, but this is a great way to start things off here. You can see the initiation snaps right to it, stays nice and high on the bank. You can see those yellow chalk markers down there. That is the lowest point the judges would like to see you, but obviously Dean taking the high risk, going up on the bank, now through the crossover, here hitting that inside clip, now shooting towards that outer zone. Like you said, Jared, a lot of fluidity here, locks in on that line, smashes the throttle all the way around. And a good start for Dean. We also saw something similar with Forrest Wang at round number 1, came out, dropped that 93, and we're seeing Dean do something pretty similar, so great start for him.
Yeah, good job there for Dean Carney. His Oracle Lighting Achilles tires, Dodge Viper from Ireland. I said one of a few, just one of 2 now. James Dean, the other one, the defending champion. And again, coming into this round of competition, James Dean sits 4th, just outside that podium spot in Long Beach. And we have our next driver, a Formula Drift rookie, Kazuya Toguchi, the Achilles tire up garage Top 1 oil GTR. Obviously not an Irishman with the name Kazuya, but Kazuya joined us from Japan as we are waiting for Dean Carney's scores. And for those of you that can remember, we had probably one of the most dynamic runs at this course last year, and that was that of Jonathan Castro, and James Dean. Jonathan Castro from the DR, Dominican Republic, put up just an insane battle against that of James Dean, and it gained a lot of attention towards that of Castro, as well as even earning the respect from a lot of his peers. So we are awaiting the scores here from our judges. All right, so again, as Kazuya sits on the start line, ready to have his first maiden voyage ever on this Orlando Speed World track, I should say in qualifying. Did have practice laps, and if you weren't paying attention earlier when Lontaine and Sage were talking about it, the Formula Drift rules say that you can only have 12 practice laps prior to that of qualifying. So that's just minimizing the tire usage, as well as no competitive advantage as far as getting more track time. So there's actually only one driver, Dai Yoshihara, that actually got to 12 total practice laps, as Dean Carney again taking a look at this run here once again, finalizing the scores. And it looks like it will. We will be tabulating it here. And it's an 84 for Dean Carney, an 84 for Dean Carnage Carney. All right, and there we go. So again, we've seen this car in previous years. Is driven by now a Formula Drift staff member, Robin Ishida, in years past, and now the keys are handed over to Kazuya Toguchi. Here we go. All right, Kazuya initiates not as high as Carney, throwing some more angle at it. So talking about that fluidity that we just saw from Dean, that was a hard act to follow. You see it looks like a bit of debris coming off his car or dragged with him. And then Kazuya. So you can hear that exhaust note just standing on the throttle, but throughout the entirety of the course, didn't really have that consistency, Ryan. Let's take a look at this again. What are your thoughts and feedback?
Well, you can definitely tell from the nice score that Dean received, a little bit of a difference here. Kazuya initiates, he kind of goes low, then he starts working his way up the bank. He comes off a little bit early there. I like to see him fill the zone all the way through. Good transition here through the middle side. You can see the front part of a piece of his bumper coming off. It doesn't seem to distract him too much. Good throttle control here, nice fluidity, stays deep towards this latter part of the zone, but a couple mistakes that he can work on for run number 2.
Yeah, definitely could tighten it up a little more, but you have to think a lot of pressure on him. Wants to keep the car off the wall. Coming into this round of competition, I'm seeing 32 drivers here, but if Taylor Hull doesn't run, in events past, that's somebody I didn't see. Okay. Yeah, I was taking a look at the drivers list, and Cameron Moore, that was the driver that we are missing, unfortunately. Cameron Moore, a no-show here. But so that means next driver, Matt Van Kirk. Matt Van Kirk from Marysville, Washington. One of the few drivers from Pacific Northwest, including, I'm just talking about Cameron Moore. Hopefully we'll see him at Atlanta with his GT86. And then also Matt Kaufman. Put him in a Kaufman.
Yeah, you want to do verbal? What do we do? Graphic or verbal? Verbal.
All right, so it's a 70. It's a 70 for Kazuya Taguchi. It's a 7-0 for Kazuya. Matt Van Kirk on the start line. He's running Achilles tires. Again, Fortune Auto. The Drift-O-Matic Nissan 240SX. Matt Van Kirk. All right, Matt initiate. Oh, some wavering. Oh, boy, that could have gone south really quick. You see some correction. Now throw some more angle back at it. Kind of reinitiates. A little bit of bounce there through that midsection. Now to that second outer zone. Stands on the throttle. Fluid on that second half. But right there on initiation, that could have gone south real quick there, Sage.
Yeah, you can see it looks like he's kind of just getting his bearings there. This is one of the danger areas on initiation. We've seen drivers initiate and not be able to get that vehicle locked into the right position here. Take a look here. You can see right there he starts going towards the wall, and he has some understeer in the vehicle. He's able to kind of reinitiate, get back into it, but you can see he's moving around a little bit. And it goes a little bit late into that zone. We'll have to see how the judges take a look at that. It almost was an opposite drift. I'd love to see it from that angle again to see if it really did qualify as that. From this side, without looking at the replay, it just looked like a bobble. But when you see up close, you can see there was some understeer there. So there will be at least a big deduction for Matt Van Kirk, and we'll take a look at it one more time.
All right, so as we await for Matt Van Kirk's score, we are seeing Kevin Lawrence warm up his tires. Here we look at it again, Ryan.
Yeah, this is what the judges want to look at here. Watch as he initiates right there. You can see angle in the car and then a little bit of an understeer. I think it's borderline. I would let it fly, but I would definitely give it a big deduction.
Yeah, massive deduction there, but yeah, I have to agree with you. I think just made a major mistake, but threw back out there. So Van Kirk, like I said, in the second portion of the course, looked like he tightened it up quite a bit. All right, awaiting the scores here. So I was just talking about Florida local, right from here in Orlando, and Juku Racing, BC Racing S14. This is that of Kevin Lawrence, the S14.3. And no, he went through quite a few engines, and there we go. Matt Van Kirk with a 66. That's a 66 for Van Kirk. So 66 for Van Kirk on his first run. So it's talking about having 32 drivers. Right now, actually, it's 31 because we are minus Cameron Moore, not making the trip all the way out here. Hopefully we see him in Atlanta. But here's your local Orlando driver, Kevin Lawrence. K-Law, what do you got, buddy? Was unable to have this vehicle prepared, popped a few engines before Long Beach, but drove his demo car in Long Beach, but now he's got this thing back together through that middle section. Wasn't as high as I'd like to see him on the bank. This is essentially his home track. He's probably had more turns and burns on this track than any other driver in the Formula Drift grid. Was very fluid. Would like to see him initiate a little higher and maintain that height, but overall, just a tidy little run.
Well, one of the things you see in his driving is the comfort. You know, on that initiation, he seems really comfort and kind of settled, knowing this track, knowing the vehicle. May have had some mistakes on the line and been able to make some adjustments, but you can certainly see what led him to the success that he had in Pro 2 last year. He comes tight on that inside clip as he reaches out to this second outer zone. You can see he draws a pretty good line here, keeps the throttle on, just one little adjustment there towards the end, but overall a good start there for Kevin Lawrence.
All right, so the Njuku Racing S14.3 waits for his score, and again, just a lot of bad luck for him going into Long Beach. Had to drive his backup R32 Skyline as he suffered mechanical failure, popped 2 engines getting prepared for Long Beach. All right, and I am hearing that Kevin Lawrence's score should be accounted for, tabulated, and completed. Next up will be Jeff Jones. Kevin Lawrence, K-Law with a 77 for the Njuku Racing vehicle. Your local Orlando driver, Kevin Lawrence. Jeff Jones with a 370Z. He's been campaigning a S14 for quite some time. Took that supercharged LS out of his S chassis. Now put it under the hood of this 370Z. He's on Doc Falcon tires, Nissan 370Z. As Jones pulls to the line. Let's see what you got here, Jeff Jones. Again, we are live here at Orlando Speed World for the Advanced Auto Parts. We deem this scorched, the weather and the track. Here we go, Jeff Jones. Faint flick. Nice job by Jones, sticks it to the wall. Ripping speed, those gold wheels shining in the sun. You can see minimal corrections, a little bit of wavering there. Coming to that second outer zone, dials it in, rides the lightning. And there's Jeff Jones, full pull. Well done by Mr. Jones.
And a very memorable moment last year with Jeff Jones at this very course with the wheel going off, so he has certainly made some memories here, and you can see why he's such a fan favorite. Snappy initiation here, right up to the wall. Good smoke coming off the bank. Makes a little bit of a flub there, and if you really listen to the vehicle, since these cars are so loud, you can tell where they're on and off throttle. You can also see in the smoke permutation right there, Jeff gets back on it on that second outer zone. Great job by him starting off here, being pretty aggressive and laying down something solid to work off of run number 2.
All right, as the smoke permutation clears out, Jeff Jones await his score. Be a lot cooler if you did, man. And yeah, with those gold wheels, like I said, it stands out. And Ryan, that brings up a great point too. Just the exhaust note, you can, it's a gift and a curse, because when he's on it, or a lot of the vehicles, rotaries as well, like Kyle Mohan and stuff like that. But it's a gift and a curse, because you know when they're on it, but you also know when they're off it. 83, solid score there from Jeff Jones. Jumps into the number 2 position. And there you go. Nice job there, Mr. Jones, coming all the way from Southern California. Next up, Austin Meeks, committed service brand, Achilles tire, S14.5. From South Carolina. All right, Austin Meeks in that Galp picked up that new sponsor. It's a oil company. Talking to his spotter, Rapper Dan, telling me about picking up this sponsor for them, so they're excited. Here we go, Austin Meeks. Austin Meeks in this Galp committed service brand Achilles radial. Throws it in. Nice job. Whoa, Meeks. Did he tap there? Did he have to back off? Look at it, going for the gusto. Taps the wall once again. Sticks it there. Oh, a lot of big correction. Yeah, and that's looks like got a little sketchy. That might be, that seemed like a big correction, like losing drift. I don't want to speak on the judge's behalf, but that very well might be a incomplete run. Let's take a look at this again, Ryan. Did he tap and that's why he corrected?
Well, you can see he was definitely starting off really aggressive here, and we've seen some great driving from Austin. Let's take a look here. He initiates. He may have tapped the wall there. He does kind of tap it here and goes off course just a little bit, but here through the center section he kind of gives up, and I think that's going to be enough. That was a pretty good distance of driving straight there. I'll have to get the head nod from the judges. It does look like that is going to be an unfortunate incomplete for him, so he will have to reserve his next opportunity for run number 2.
See if we can get that smoke permutation going. And the tire debris. The tire particulate, that's the other word you like. And there it is, it's official. Austin Meeks, unfortunately, that will be a 0 or an incomplete on his first run, so he'll have to defect to his second run in order to see him in head-to-head battles. One of the lone rotary in competition, the last starfighter here, Kyle Mohan, American Ethanol, Mazda Tricks MX-5. Kyle the Menace Mohan. Kyle Mohan on Nexen tires. All right, so Kyle the Menace Mohan. There you can see our fast orange qualifying leaderboard. Dean Carney with an 84. Jeff Jones right behind him with an 83. Keep in mind, if this is your first drift competition, we take the better of the 2 runs. It is not combined. So everybody could still be standing, and here we go. Kyle Mohan, the bright orange nose. You see him flick it. Whoa! Plumes of smoke coming off the MX-5. Nice job by Mohan. Brings it down, drops him to that first front clip. Great angle from Mohan. So that's what I was talking about. You could see not only that smoke trail, the smoke signal showing that he lifted, approaching that second inside zone. Well done. Round of applause for Kyle Mohan. Exciting run when you see and hear that rotary just firing on all wankles. Look, my man down here, Culture Clash, is hyped. So there you go, Kyle Mohan.
Let's take a look at Kyle Mohan's first run of the afternoon. Initiates, gets to angle. You can see he kind of moves up the bank here, gets nice and high towards the end. Now coming off the bank, nice smooth transition down below for Kyle. Just about a foot off that inside clip. Now trying to shoot into this outer zone here to finish up the run. Nice line being drawn, good smoke, and obviously a lot of noise coming off that vehicle, so good start for Kyle Mohan.
All right, so Kyle Mohan awaits his score as Farouk. I like simply call him Farouk because usually I butcher his last name, Kawai. And scores are in for Mohan. That's an 80, an 8-0 for Kyle the Menace Mohan from Long Beach, California. Again, Kyle Mohan Racing, American Ethanol, Mazda Tricks, Nexen Tires MX-5. Now, Farouk in the Reckless Racing BMW E92, originally from Poland, now living in Northern California. Had some struggles with his vehicle last year, but I got to tell you, in Long Beach, definitely has progressed. That vehicle, been driving in the Pro-Am sanction body for quite some time, Golden Gate Drift, as well as Thunder Hill, and here we go. Farouk, like I said, looking a lot smoother than previous rounds last year, but Farouk dials it in. All right, not too shabby, just kind of a nothing super monumental, but kept it between the lines. Let's take a look at this again. Ryan, your thoughts?
Well, Jared, you can see how important the initiation is and then locking into that line on the bank. If you don't do that, you risk kind of doing something like this here, coming down off the bank, getting below that yellow line, and allowing for the judge to really take away some points on that line area. Now, coming through the center here, you can see he's kind of making a little bit of adjustments. He's going to get a score, and he's going to be into tomorrow's competition no matter what, and he'll have one more to back this one up. but certainly a few things that he could work on there for that next run, but overall a good start.
And yeah, that first outer zone is so massive. They've broken it up into 2 zones. You know, the first outer zone A, OZ1A, OZ1B, essentially, because it is just so big. And like you said, Ryan, dropping down below that line, essentially a deduction.
Yeah, and for fans that didn't see the opening, we have line and angle that are contained into certain areas, and then other areas where the style is actually being judged. So there's no double dinging that's going on in terms of angle and style and line.
All right, so 73, a 73 for Farouk. All right, so Farouk with that 73. Next up, vehicle that caught a lot of attention, not in a positive way, but caught a fire. Not talking metaphorically here, literally in a very unique vehicle, the only Ferrari in competition, in that 599 GTB Fiorino Drift spec.
Tell them they're going to have to call their 5 if they want to make that run.
And again, Federico is next up, but we are hearing there might be a delay here. Ready to see and create Formula Drift content? Embrace the heat. Start the conversation. Join the community. And how would you do that? Go to formuladee.com. Formuladee.com. Go to the website. Join the community. Again, embrace the heat. Start the conversation. Join us at formuladee.com and click community. So again, that bright yellow Ferrari, no show right now. A little bit of a delay. He's taking, and looks like they are on their way up. Ryan, again, seemed like, no pun intended, Federico's car really set ablaze the internet.
Yeah, it did, and I think there were many millions of views generated for this clip right here. It went all across the automotive blogs and automotive websites and made it onto the local news. Certainly very spectacular, and it was one of those things that was really fascinating to see just how well the team adapted to that vehicle's damage afterwards, literally up until the last minute trying to find a ride here, but it shows a lot of grit and determination for the team to go back, take a look at the damage, see what they needed to get fixed. And Federico has said in a number of interviews that he knows the car so well that when he broke it down, he was familiar with every single bolt, every single nook and cranny, that he knew what he needed to do to get it done. And it's no small feat, let alone the expense, to be able to take that vehicle from where it was and now out on course here today.
Yeah, $300,000 car to start. You know, that, truth be told, you know, entering our 15th season, that was probably the worst car fire we've seen in a vehicle, and I think it just added to the spectacle that, yes, it's the only Ferrari we've ever seen in competition, but you know, it was you know, him being safe is the priority number one. Make sure he's out of the car, nobody gets hurt. At that point, you know, safety struck, and they struck fast. But you know, yeah, it's unfortunate. But the best, you know, the kind of silver lining is he's here. Him and his team worked feverishly to get the car back, and he's back and ready to do battle with a smile on his face. He definitely asked for a lot of help from some of his fellow drivers and competitors. I saw Russell Walker, who was a former Formula Drift competitor. Josh Robinson, he's part of his team now. He's that 7-foot-tall Australian dude that drives the Ute. He's going to be campaigning a Pro 2 vehicle this year. So, yeah. So it's cool that Federico called upon the help of some of his peers. But here we go. Federico Sharifo in that 599 GTB on Nitto tires. Initiates into the bank. Some wavering. You can see now throwing some more angle at it. Drops down into that first front clip. Transitions. You see those front wheels just carving it up on that second front clip, and then into that second outer zone. Again, just happy to see him back out here. Again, a smile on his face, underneath his helmet. Ryan?
No, just saying, just looking to get a score on the board here, but let's take a look at the run here from Federico. You can see a little bit of a labored initiation here. Gets back on the throttle here about a quarter of the way through. A little bit of a mistake there as he kind of has to kind of like reinitiate there towards the beginning, but then he kind of finds his way here down through the bottom, through this second inside clip. Better job here on this second outer zone. Good throttle control, keeps the angle in line here, draws a nice fluid line through the end, but a couple mistakes there at the beginning can work on, but very impressive nonetheless in that vehicle.
Federico Suave. All right, so Federico puts down a run. Scores are being tabulated. I am seeing some numbers being thrown around. So we will be seeing him in head-to-head competition. Next up, Inca Madness Racing from Lima, Peru. The black and red looking menacing on his vehicle. All right, scores are in for Federico Sharifo. 61, a 61 for Federico.
Perfect. That was the best one, guys.
All right, thanks. I'm glad I announced, bro. Alex Hilbrun, Inca Madness Racing. Nitto Tires, light it up. You sticking it to the wall. Well done. El Diablo. Into that first front clip, transitions over the humps, through the woods in that second outer zone. Alex Hilbrun from Lima, Peru. He calls that the Monster BMW, no affiliation with the energy drink, just because it is a supercharged V8 beast under the hood. Ryan.
This is a beautiful run here from Alex. You can see very aggressive initiation, but he holds that line, stays nice and high on the bank, does not waver from that line really, comes off at the right time through this section of the course, tight on that first inside clip. Just here on the second inside clip, maybe 6 to 8 inches off, but other than that, pretty perfect here. Great throttle control. Could have gone tiny bit deeper, but I mean, these are very, very minimal things. Overall for Alex, a solid performance there. Our highest score right now is an 84. I think that is going to be above that, so a good start for Alex Hilbrun.
El Diablo, as some of his teammates have recommended his nickname be. Just kind of a soft-spoken cat, but then he gets behind the wheel of his vehicle and starts to shred it. Shred it, bro. Formula Drift sophomore warming up his tires as Alex's score comes in. 87. Boom. There's our new leader, Alex Hilbrun. El Diablo with the horns. Looks like the Pandem logo likes it too. He says, A-OK. Dan Burkett. Rad Dan, as he's known. Business up front, party in the back. The mullet lives on. On Nexen tires, great looking Toyota Supra. Just an iconic chassis. The only Supra here in competition in Formula Drift USA. And Burkett initiates. You see him dropping down, now works his way back up the bank. Into that first front clip, about the second hash mark. Like the transition there in that second outer zone. Looked very comfortable and confident, but now lacking some angle and not getting all the way to the outside zone on that outside zone 2.
Love to go back and take a look at the initiation here. It looks like something went a little bit amiss. May have even tapped the wall, but it was hard to tell from this angle. Right there, he just kind of glides on to the wall, and then you can see his line kind of shoots him down. He has to work his way back up to the middle and then a little bit higher. Now coming off the bank, you can see good transition here. Pretty decent job on that second inside clip, but then, as you said, Jared, he didn't reach all the way out to the second outer zone. Really didn't fill all the way through. The judges would like to see get out to that seam where the bank hits the center part of the track. Try not to go up on it, but right there, you don't like the seam?
No, I'm with it. You're looking for that word. Yeah, right where the bank meets the flat. The seam, I'm with it. In the crease, in the curve.
We can go crease if you want.
When the wave breaks here, don't be there.
Where they attach?
Yeah. Dan Burkett with an 80. An 80 for Dan, Radical Daniel with an 80. Remember, we debuted our new halftime show at round 1. They'll be back again. Paco, Sam, and Corey for the halftime show, Form Drift halftime show, hosted by the fellows from Maximum Driftcast. Brought to you by AEM Intakes. Also, Robbie Nishida, who is a part of our staff. He's doing some really cool content created in conjunction with JE Pistons, so some insight and some video content there. Also, Lorette Nickel will be joining us for tomorrow in the pits, our girl on the grid. And this is Jonathan Castro. If you can remember last year, he probably had the run of his, let's call it his life, but right now, no, he is stalled. He's having some major issues here. The blue, white, and red vehicle flying the colors of his native country, Dominican Republic, Jadot Metaldam, Toyota GT86 operated by Papadakis Racing. That will be an incomplete run, unfortunately, for the gentleman. So we'll see if he can go from a 0 to a hero on his second run. All right, the goosh is loosed as Ken Gushi, Gretty Performance Parts, Toyota Racing. He's now on Falcon tires. The bright white. All right, here we go. The goosh. Getting some air in there. Ken Gushi, you can see Alex Hilbrun leads with an 87, Carney 84, Jones 83, and then a couple 80s with Mohan and Burkett. All right, we're seeing thumbs up. Send him. Goosh, what do you got? There we go. Goosh throws it in, the Boost Brigade. Nice, well done, consistent. You can hear that exhaust note coming all the way through. 2J under the hood. Riding that, the crease, the seam, the lightning, whatever you want to call it. Gushi right there on it. Sticks it to it. Let's take a look at this again here, Ryan.
Well, 87 is the highest score of the afternoon so far. This is a really solid run here by Ken Gushi. You can see initiates very aggressively, gets right to angle. That rate to angle was very solid, stays nice and high up on the bank. Leaves at the right time, comes down, hits that first inside clip. Good fluid transition across the center, maybe just about 6 to 8 inches off that second inside clip, but then really pushes out wide at the beginning of that zone and fills it pretty much all the way through. So solid job by Ken Gushi there. Run number 1 in the books.
Waiting for the results for Gushi, the Gretty Performance Parts, Toyota Racing Toyota GT86. You can hear the growl of the Corvette. That is the Stratton Chevrolet Corvette. Lingenfelter Performance from Wyo, Big O, H-I-O, Ohio. Gushi with a 92, a 92. Ryan, did you expect that? Seemed like you were kind of talking that way.
I didn't see the score, if that's what you're asking.
No, I know. No, I know you didn't, but you acknowledged that was a good run.
Yeah, I thought the initiation was on point. His line was nice and solid. He left some room for run number 2. My expectation is that we're going to see quite a few 90s from the top drivers because the course, while it has some areas that really need to be taken into consideration, it's not as challenging of a course as Long Beach. And coming from Long Beach, those guys really had to focus on so many different aspects. And so I expect to see quite a few runs in the 90s.
You got a little more leeway with this course. Long Beach not so forgiving. Here we go. Dirk Stratton, the number 33. Yes, throws it into the wall. Nice job. Look, his front wheels are just completely countered properly. Big, massive angle. Tightens it up to that second front clip. Let's see if he brings it out to the outer zone. Slowly creeping out there into the crease, into the fold. Rises up a little bit there. So he did drop a tire. We'll see how that's reflected on a score. But very aggressive for this Formula Drift rookie, going from Pro 2 to Pro, really making a name for himself.
Yeah, really love the sound coming off that vehicle. Great throttle control, snappy initiation here. Like you said, Jared, he could have done a little bit of a better job on the bank, but overall he drew the line that was smoothest for him given the initiation. Big angle here coming through the center. Luckily he hangs on to it, gets right back on throttle here. Comes up a little bit short on this second outer zone. Now he starts creeping towards that section, but he does bring that tire up. Overall, it's a solid run. A couple little mistakes here, but I think it's going to be a competitive run for him and something that he can build off for run number 2.
Definitely a confidence booster coming out of Long Beach. He got into a tussle with the wall, and the wall is always going to win, especially when you get some carbon fiber, fiberglass bits, and all that. So, like I said, Dirk gaining some confidence here, gets a run in the books. I'm sure, with his second run, he's going to push it a little harder, but I think he's going to be confident with that. We'll see where he lands. But the scores are in and awaiting his run number 1. 85, and 85 for Dirk Stratton puts him into the number 3 position. But again, Ryan, as you said, keep in mind, we are now into the top 16 drivers. You know, the All-American battle. We saw these guys, actually Dirk and Vaughn, go against each other in Long Beach. That's when Dirk got into the wall. But Vaughn Gittin Jr., former Formula Drift champion, the Monster Energy Nitto tire, Ford Performance Mustang RTR. He's on Nitto tires. As Vaughn Gittin Jr. ready to send it. See if we see that signature 3-wheel motion. Chelsea Denofa, his teammate, got into the wall earlier. Let's hope Vaughn is ready to throw down. There it is. Boom. You see that front right tire lifting off. Woo! Wow, look at that. You can see a whole bunch of air underneath that front right tire, but keeps it sideways. Well done there. Massages it into the fold and brings it across. That exhaust note just continuing through, echoing through this Orlando Speed World course.
Yeah, known for being a driver that uses a lot of throttle, makes the vehicle sound amazing. Good start here by Vaughn Gittin Jr. You can see snappy initiation, right back on throttle. Again, maybe not drawing the line that he really wanted to, kind of dropped down there in the center and then had to move back up. Coming through the middle section here after he hits that first inside clip. Watch the front wheels a little bit. Doesn't keep that angle locked in as well as he would have probably liked to, but he is able to hit this second outer zone pretty well. Stays consistently in that rut, if you will, and then through the finish line.
How many names
we got rut, we got crease,
we got the fold,
we got the
seam.
The seam, yeah. We'll get a few more.
Yeah, we'll get a few more in there. So Vaughn Gittin Jr., you gotta think with that, you know, the signature 3-wheel motion, lifting that, the contact patch, you know, is now just, you're focusing your direction on that one tire. So you really got to be poised and dialed in order to harness all that power, because you can see just lighten them up. All right, so Vaughn Gittin Jr.'s score is tabulated, and an 84. So like we predicted, Ryan, these drivers are stepping up further and further. An 84 for Vaughn Gittin Jr. Next up, another Ford-powered vehicle, but it's got a Nissan shell. This is Matt Kaufman. This machine is built to shred. He said, you know, he's had different sayings on the wings there in previous years. This machine is built for war, and now it says to shred. So it's where his head's at. Shred till you're dead, bro. Put him in a Kaufman. Yeah, look at that. Menacing, man. Look at that. 420 was just a little bit ago there, Matt. Just took it down a notch. Look at that. Chance clearing out the smoke. Thumbs up. Ready to send it, bro. 959, Matt Kaufman. What do you got? Thunderbolt Racing Fuel, Keeley's Radial, 240SX. Throws it in. Guns a-blazing. Wow, squirrely. Kaufman into that first front clip. Now transitions. See him standing on the throttle. Quickly gets that second outer zone, feeling that immediately, but has to come off of it. But I'm telling you, the way Matt Kaufman has just progressed as a driver has just been tremendous. I really just like his kind of personality, the car and everything. It all works together.
Well, and I certainly don't think it'll be too long before he's on that podium. And you're starting to see a little bit of the potential that he has as a championship level driver. Here he doesn't get off to the greatest start, but you can see he uses a lot of throttle here coming through this second inside clip. Like you said, Jared, he has to leave this second outer zone just a little bit early here in order to maintain a fluid line. I'd like to see him go a little bit deeper there, so he will receive some deductions there overall, but he will be into tomorrow's competition, and we'll see where this score locks in for run number 1.
All right, what do we got for Matt Kaufman? And Kaufman with an 80. An 80 for Matt Kaufman on his first run. Next up, Michael Essa Autosports, Achilles tire, BMW M3. All right, Michael Essa, former Formula Drift champion, pulls to the line. Redline oil synthetics flowing through the veins of his Essa Autosport M3. I have a feeling this track is going to suit Essa really well. I think if I can recall previous years of him running here, it's, look at that, just right there, puts the car where it needs to be. Nothing crazy, like just aggressive, but very smooth. Smooth operator like Sade. And now into the crease he goes. Nice, just a textbook, solid run. Again, nothing super like whack initiation, but just very smooth and clean.
Yeah, let's take a look here at Michael Essa, run number 1 here in qualifying. Down through the chicane, initiates, gets to angle here, starts moving his way up the bank. Good smoke line, good fluidity here from Essa overall. Down off the bank now, coming through the center section, hopping through. Few drivers still missing that second inside clip. Essa gets into the second outer zone a little bit late here. He's just kind of on the inside a little bit of the crease. And then he's throttling through. But it will be a nice score overall for Michael Essa. Definitely some room for improvement there, as we've seen from a few drivers. Nobody fully connecting into that 95 plus yet, but we're still making our way through the lineup here.
Yeah, nobody challenging Ken Gucci with that 92. And an 88. An 88 puts Essa into number 2 position as it stands. Next up, you can see the Falcon Tire S14. 0.5, got the S15 headlights. That is Odi Bakshis. All right, Odi Bakshis. That's right. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. Just getting a memory. He had Odi got into a tussle last year, took him out of competition, and that set him back in his road to the championship. So Odi, not really enjoying this Orlando Speed World track, but redemption. He's quickly become one of the best chasers in the biz. Just his driving style and being in that S chassis looks like he's very comfortable. So let's see what Odi's got. And here we go. And there is Odi Bakshis. Look at that, high on the bank. The white drifts wheels really standing out, showing you that minimal corrections. Over the bump, little correction there as adjusting to find himself closer to that second front clip, and now gets that second outer zone tucked in, getting pitted. Well done, Odi.
Let's take a look at the run here from Odi once again. This initiation really shows you the confidence in his driving skills. Right here, he snaps it, and then boom, right back on the throttle, locks in this line. Huge smoke line here coming off the vehicle. Good throttle control down coming off the bank. This is where the drivers usually lift for a second here. Now they get back on the throttle. There's a little flub there from Odi. You can see lacking a little bit in that fluidity. He gets into that second outer zone a tiny bit late as well, so leaving a few points on the table there, Jared, but overall, really seeing some high points here. This is where they come through that center section, kind of jumping up and down. You can see the front wheels lifting for a second, and then they make contact once again with the ground, and that's where that little mistake there was made from Odi. So the judges will take that into consideration, and we'll see where his score comes in overall. I still expect it to be a pretty decent score.
All right, scores are in. And an 88, so seems to be a popular number here. Essa with an 88 as well. This should be a fun one to watch. And this was last year, we saw this driver, Kristaps, really throw down as well. Kristaps Blush in the Eurofighter. HGK BMW E92 Eurofighter. Achilles tires, masked Motorsports. Great looking car. So let's see what you got here. Kristaps Blush from Latvia. Initiates very early. And man, looked like he was just gonna stop right there, but just turns on the smoke machine, and no! Kristaps goes into the wall. So again, just such a great looking car. You hate to see it get scuffed, but you know what? Knowing Kristaps, he's just going to go for it. So looks like he might just shut it down, make sure. Yeah, that front left.
Well, that most certainly could have been a lot worse, Jared. This is an event that we've seen Kristaps really excel at. Yeah. This is an event that he probably should have won a couple of years ago against Frederick Osbo. Right here you can see he's rubbing up against the wall there on the back, and he just can't get out of it. He ends up having to he turns the vehicle into the wall by the pressure being put on the back bumper here. Watch this right here. You can see it kind of sucks in right there, makes contact. That could have been a lot worse. It looks like he will obviously sustain some damage there. You can see some suspension damage, but the vehicle aesthetically outside of that looks pretty good. Let's take a look at it from this angle. You can see he's rubbing the wall here, and then watch the front wheel. You can see the front wheel locks, and he has nowhere to go.
Just couldn't get out of it. Too late. Just too late there for Kristaps. He's going to get the car towed off, and hopefully his team's going to start thrashing on it, getting it back up to running order, because now it is do or die for him. Qualify or no head-to-head. So you can see safety. All right, so again, Kristaps currently 12th in points coming into this round of competition after Long Beach. You can see the frustration there for Kristaps. So that's going to put a little lull in the action here at the Advanced Auto Parts. Scorched. Round 2 presented by Fast Orange. All right, safety, seeing what's going on here. All right, so we talked about a former driver getting some content and joining the Formula Drift staff. So we talked about him earlier. Robbie Nishida, he caught up with Dan Burkett earlier.
Robin Nishida here, back with Tech Talk, brought to you by JE Pistons here at the pits. Rad Dan, in Long Beach, you had some contact, and I saw some body panels flying all over the place.
Odie Boxy's Dan Burkett out to the title. Oh, goodness gracious.
Got the wall with the back of the car, and I pulled the front of the car. So then drove off track, checked out the damage. It was pretty significant. And so then after that, we had to go to the frame shop, pull the frame, cut off the back that we could, you know, where we can legally cut off, and then build some new structure back there. But we had a long 2 weeks, not much sleep, but we're here. We made it happen.
Car looks good.
Yeah, it looks good. We, luckily there was no like mechanical issues. It was just kind of like bent the back of the chassis. We bent it back, did a new front bash bar, new headlight, new bumper, some new bodywork, and then good to go. And we went and tested it to make sure it was good at Willow one of the days.
So most of it was just cosmetic?
Yeah, mostly it was cosmetic, and then little metal work in the back.
You make it sound like it was just,
well,
you know, piece of cake.
Like,
but
I own a shop, and that's what we do is build race cars. So, I mean, it stopped us, and we're like, okay, we got to make this happen because we got to be at this round. But wasn't the worst thing, and, you know, crashes happen in drifting, so.
Well, there you go. It's Rad Dan at Rad Industries. He could fix anything.
No, just, I like Supras. So we made it happen, and we're going to do good this week, and we're excited about it.
Good luck.
Bud.
Well, Dan Burkett with an 80 on his first run. So he said he has that confidence. So hopefully maybe he'll even better on his second run. But we will be seeing him head-to-head competition. As you can see, Kristaps Blush still figuring out what's going on and how we can get. Looks like they got the dolly underneath that front left wheel that wouldn't turn. So win a set of wheels. Tag a photo of you watching this weekend's event. Hashtag FD Drifts, DRIFZ, and enter to win a free set of Drifts wheels. So again, you're taking photos, you're putting them on Instagram, you're putting them on social media, you're putting them out there on Facebook. So why not win a set of wheels as run by Odie Bakshish. Tag a photo of you watching this weekend's event. Hashtag FD, and it's spelled DRIFZ. And enter to win a free set of Drifts wheels as run by the number 723 Odie Bakshish. All right, so slow trickle here to get Kristaps' vehicle off of the track. When we return, more Formula Drift action. Again, we're narrowing down into the top 12 or top 11 drivers after Kristaps Blush. When we come back, more Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship here at Orlando Speed World. All right, Chelsea Denofa on the start line. Fortunately for him and his team, they thrashed to get it back up and running order. In practice earlier, he got into the wall. I was just watching actually Insta story and seeing how his center line wheel took a hit but still held air, and he is ready to go back at it against this track. Chelsea Denofa, BC Racing, Nitto Tire, Ford Performance Mustang, RTR. Chelsea Denofa initiates that front right wheel, locking up. Maybe a little timid of that wall. One-time resident here in Florida, he knows his way around this track, but in a very different vehicle than he's driven in previous years. Look at that front left wheel just locking up, not rotating at all, showing you that the three-wheel motion is alive in that vehicle as well. As Denofa will get a score. Where he lands, we're about to find out.
Well, given the way that the vehicle looked aesthetically, getting back out on our track and driving the way that he did here, even though it won't be the highest score of the day, is nothing short of a miracle. So great job by Denofa and his team. Put that car back together. You can see struggles a little bit on the bank there. Comes off. You can see big angle here coming through this center section. Now reaching out towards his first inside clip. Connects that first inside clip in the second outer zone pretty well, but doesn't get completely out there till about the middle section of the course. Overall, solid run from Chelsea. And he will have a score in the books for the first run of qualifying.
Remember, we do have a dedicated autograph session during, or after qualifying, excuse me. There will be a dedicated autograph session for those that are here in the building. Scores are in for Denofa. 87. It's an 87 for Chelsea Denofa, who came in 11th in points coming into this round. So Denofa with an 87 on his first run. So yeah, again, the come out autograph signing 4 o'clock. It's 4 to 5 o'clock, and then tomorrow gates open at 9 o'clock. Top 32 competition begins at 11 o'clock. We have a halftime break, and then top 16 opening ceremonies begin at 3. You can find all the info on formuladee.com, as well as many different social media platforms. Daijiro Yoshihara, turn 14 distribution, Falcon Tire, Subaru BRZ. And here we go. Dai Yoshihara threads the needle through that start chicane. The cones not a priority here when it is qualifying. Nice job by Dai Yoshihara. Very fluid through that first outer zone in the transition. You can see some of the drivers navigating around the bumpy section of the course, and Dai Yoshihara, very reminiscent of Michael Essa's run there. Just very smooth, nothing just kind of whack slap you in your face, but a very smooth and committed line there from Dai Yoshihara. Ryan.
Yeah, Dai coming through the chicane here, looking for that line, that area to set up his initiation. Gets right back on throttle there. Heads up towards that deeper part of the bank. Comes off, good fluidity here. Now moving down off the bank into this center section, looking to be very tight on this second inside clip. Great job there. Nicely connects that first inside clip with that second outer zone. If you watch the line, really good job there. And pretty solid all the way through. Nice start by Daijiro Yoshihara.
All right, the Subaru BRZ awaits his score. Dai Yoshihara, a Formula Drift veteran, with a 92 for Daijiro Yoshihara. That jumps him up to that #1 spot. So, Dai Yoshihara looking strong. Now, another car that was debuted this year, Matt Field, running the teal and blue, the Falcon Tire livery with that high-vis yellow. A lot of the drivers running a little high-vis action. Matt Field, the beast from the Bay, in his Wish Falcon Tire, Borla exhaust, Chevrolet Corvette, or Chevy, just Corvette. All right, so here we go on Falcon Tires. Here comes the vet of Matt Field. Matt Field initiates, taps the wall, gets into it. Yes, sir. Showing up in grand fashion. Slams down to that flat section. About the second hash mark on that second front clip. Now dials it in. Well done by the beast from the Bay, Matt Field.
Well, Matt Field did acknowledge that he was still a little bit tight with the vehicle in Long Beach. Still wish he could get some more testing in, trying to get that car to drive as well as his S chassis did. But look at this, initiates, taps the bank, stays in it. Great job here, big throttle through that center section, moves across here. Nice job on that second inside clip, and again, connecting that second inside clip with the outer zone. Could have been a tiny bit deeper there, but overall a solid performance from Matt Field.
Yeah, the Vortex supercharged vet looking really good out there. Again, one of two vets, Dirk Stratton and now Matt Field, campaigning the vet. Scores are in for Matt Field, who came in 9th, so currently 9th in standings, a 92. So again, unofficially number 1. It's going to come down to their second score, where they land on their second run. So Matt Field backs up Dio Shihara's 92 with a 92. Alec Honadell, the fast orange S14, changing the livery from the previous round of competition. The fast orange S14. Rain-X, Permatex, Nexon Tires, and Hoonigan from Destin, Florida. Also in conjunction with Huddy Racing. And here comes Honadell.
Warming them up.
Warming up them tires, though. Here we go. Alec Honadell throws it into that first outer zone. Doesn't get all the way on the bank or all the way up to the wall. We've seen some from previous drivers. Taking out that front clip, the first driver to really slam into there. Now, into that second outer zone. And there is the first full pull for Alec Honadell.
Let's take a look here at Alec. You can see aggressive initiation. He catches it, but then he falls down with his line just a little bit here. Could have been higher on the bank, leaves a few points on the table there. Now through the center section, you can see he makes contact with that inside clip. A little bit wide there on that second inside clip as he tries to connect that section of the course to the final outer zone. Overall aggressive, nice transitions. Little bit of points left on the table for line, but overall a good start for him in run number 1.
All right, Alec awaits his score. So a 92, the score to beat right now. A few drivers, Ken Gucci, Dio Shihara, Matt Field, all 92. The results are in for Honadell. What do you got, buddy? And an 89 for Honadell. As we move on to our currently 7th placed driver, Ryan Turk. Ryan Turk in his gum out black Magic Nexon tire, Toyota Racing Toyota 86. All right, the 2JZ under the hood of the 411, Ryan Turk. All right, so Ryan Turk definitely putting some heat in those tires. And Ryan Turk on his first run, thumbs up. What do we got, Chase? Come on. Let's go, Turk. Throws it into that first outer zone. Keeps it high. Down past that first front clip. Transition, you see a little bit of the attitude of the car get shaken up. And into the fold goes Ryan Turk. What do you got there, Ryan Sage? What say you about this other Ryan's run?
Well, certainly I heard another judge say he knows what he's doing. You can see nice, smooth initiation here. Very little noticing in being off throttle from initiation, and basically right back on throttle there. No pause. You can see through the center here, very smooth, nice and tight on that second inside clip. Pretty good job connecting it, but he could have been slightly deeper overall, but still a smooth line through that section of the course. So a good start for Ryan Turk there. Starting to see a lot more high 80s and 90s as we move up into the higher qualified or ranked drivers.
All right, so Ryan Turk completes his first run. His teammate, Chris Forsberg, the Bone Zone over here, as these guys about to throw down. A 93, wow, look at that, a 93 from Ryan Turk. So fluidity is key. That is one of the criteria. So a 93, Ryan Turk is our #1 qualifier right now. All right, so Chris the Force Forsberg, again, his teammate. You can see they kind of had that signature stripe there on their front bumpers. All right, so there's the leaderboard, the Fast Orange qualifying leaderboard. Turk, Yoshihara, Field, Gucci, Hanadel. Look at that, 90s in the top 4. Here we go, Chris Forsberg, what do you got? Chris Forsberg throws it in. Is now VQ set up. Sticks it to the wall. Get him wrapping through past that first front clip. Transitions very fluidly. See him just the bumper get a little shook. Wow, really into the fold. Wow, just putting the tire right on that yellow line in the crease, Ryan.
Well, Chris Forsberg, the only 3-time champion in the history of the series here, coming out for his first run in qualifying. You can see nice snappy initiation, back to throttle here, comes off that line just a little bit, then makes his way up the bank. A lot of smoke coming off the vehicle now, transitions down to that first inside clip, good movement across the center, nice and tight on that second inside clip, just rubbing it as he connects that second outer zone. And just really nice line being drawn all the way through the finish line there. So maybe a few points left on the table from initiation to the first part of the bank, but overall a strong performance there for Chris Forsberg.
Does that take out Ryan Turk, our current leader, with a 93? Saw in the previous run, just the ante being up with each round. Really looking forward to the head-to-head battles tomorrow. And an 89, that's an 89 for Forsberg. Forsberg with an 89 puts him into 5th position. Again, the better run of the two, hitting the 2 outer zones on initiation. You got outer zone 1, then the front clips when they come into the flat portion. Second, or the 2 front clips, and then into that second outer zone. JTP, Justin Pollock, Falcon Tires, Roush Performance, Ford Mustang. All right, so here we go. Pollock initiating. Slips it into that first outer zone. Big angle there from Pollock. Massive angle past that front clip. Airing it out. Could be a little bit close to that second front clip, and now puts it exactly where it needs to be. Man, I barely heard any lift. That was just hammered down. He put a brick on the gas pedal and just drove the thing. That was insane.
Well, great job all around from JTP Justin Pollock. Let's take a look at this here. This very aggressive initiation, right to angle. You can see back on throttle, stays nice and high on the bank. Great counter lock there coming down off the bank. Smooth transition here, huge throttle. Lifts for just a second, then back onto here on that second inside clip rather. Now to that second outer zone. Connects it. Big angle here through the finish line, and I have to say that was a very strong performance from Justin Pollock. He'll be looking for a very solid score here, and let's see where that lands him into the top 32.
And the score to beat a 93, our current leader Ryan Turk. Is that enough? And the scores are in. We are now going to be into 96. Wow, 96. There is our new leader, JTP Justin Pollock, with the 96, a near perfect run. You can see 2 points missing in line and 2 points missing in style, but 19-19, perfect angle. Got that 30 out of 30, so a great execution there by JTP.
Are we going to see a 98 maybe?
All right, so what do we got here? This is our defending champion, James Dean, the Machine. The Wordhouse Drift Team Falcon tires, S15. Coming to us from Ireland, initiates, throws it on. Wow, blending in, looking like Predator right now. Just sticks it to the wall, right on that first front clip. Can he navigate? Yes, he can. Right onto the second outer zone, and that back tire, just like a magnet on that second outer zone. Textbook. Ryan, here's where, yeah, there was a slight, yeah, Ryan, what?
My only disappointment was you weren't more hyped at the beginning, because
I kind of
what was
expected it.
wrong with that run? There's almost nothing wrong with that run. It initiates right on the wall, stays there, full throttle all the way through, comes off the bank at the perfect time. Smooth transition here, hits that first inside clip. Where's the mistakes? There's no mistakes here. Perfect on that second inside clip. Locks into this line here. I'm not trying to set this up, but I mean, the judges have given themselves 4 points to make a difference between JTP.
Let's watch it again.
And James Dean. But
Early,
I mean,
tops the wall.
Stays in it. No real mistakes here up on the bank. I mean, maybe you could give him a little bit of a mistake for hitting the wall, but it didn't really affect his line. Wow, great job here. James Dean setting the bar. There was some talk after Long Beach that Peter Vincek should have gotten that 100-point run by some people, and we haven't seen that, but I feel like that is going to happen this year at some point. Right back on throttle by James Dean as we take a closer look from above the initiation point there. So the judges have their hands, their work cut out for him.
He did, like you said, he did have contact with the wall. I think that took away a little bit from his angle on initiation, but he did get right back into it. It didn't affect the attitude of the car or affect the overall outcome of that line, because that could throw a lot of drivers off. And to answer your question of why I wasn't as hyped, because I kind of expect this from James Dean. You know, you're just from what he's been doing from last year, even to Long Beach and now here, it's kind of expected. So the judges' scores are being tabulated, and they are in. Do we have a new leader? A 96. So no, not a perfect run, but still a 96. That ties JTP, Justin Pollock, for that #1 spot. But you could see style. He's missing a point there and 2 on angle. So that very well could have been Ryan Lontaine. What judge are you this event? Line. Your line. So he gave him a near perfect. So off a little bit. What was that 1 point? Inside 2. Okay. Yep, he was about that second hash mark. So a near perfect run. His vehicle's almost identical, but different numbers, different countries of origin, but same engine setups. Here we go. Peter Vincek, who got on the box, got 3rd place in Long Beach. Can he get on the podium again here this weekend? Peter Vincek, again, just looks great out there. Big angle, fluid. Listen to the exhaust note. Just winding it up, stitching the seam there, and the Polish driver brings it on home.
Yeah, I think between the two Wordhouse guys, James had a little bit more of an impressive bank initiation, but Peter was there the rest of the way. Nice snappy transition into initiation, still high on the bank. You see James got right to the bank, right out of the gate. Peter threw that first inside clip over the whoops. Great angle here, linking that second inside clip to that second outer zone. I mean, the second part of the course is pretty much perfect. Big angle there towards the end. So this will certainly be in the 90s for sure, just where it will land.
All right, we are waiting for Peter Vincek's score. All right, scores are in. A 94 and 94, so not as high as we've seen from his teammate, but still a solid score. Now we're getting to the top 2. This is Forrest Wang in his Vaptasia Achilles Tire Energy Innovations S15 Sylvia. All right, so Forrest Wang pulls to the line for his first run. How is Forrest Wang? So he took a hiatus in the 2017 season, and here he is back once again. He gets a podium on his re-emergence into the Formula Drift Championship. What do we got? Oh, Forrest Wang taps it. Gets a little doof done did it. Listen to that, just hammering down, ripping through the course. About the second hash mark on that front clip. Doesn't get all the way out to the fold. Nice job there from Forrest Wang. Let's take a look at this again. All right, so Forrest Wang, see him flick it in, boom. You see him make a correction, so it did bounce him off the wall. Like I said, when James hit the wall, he stayed in it. It caused Forrest Wang to get a little bit disrupted there. Now on the second front clip, about the second hash mark, doesn't get all the way out to that second outer zone, the yellow line that a lot of the drivers have been getting out to. That is the reference. But watch again, right here. You see him tap that 2F Performance Super Doof kit. And you see the front wheels correct. So bang, takes the hit, has to correct, then throws back the angle. The Vaptasia, Achilles Tire Energy Innovation Sylvia, Forrest Wang awaits a score. And our current points leader, Frederick, the Norwegian Hammer Osbo, warming up the tires underneath his Rockstar Energy drink, next entire Toyota Corolla. Scores are in for Wang, and he's got an 82. An 82 for Forrest Wang. All right, so like I said, our current points leader, winner at round one, Long Beach. Our former champion, Frederick Osbo. Osbo on the start line. And here we go. Osbo in a brand new vehicle looking similar to the hot hatchback as last year. This Toyota Corolla throwing down, big angle there. Nice job from Osbo. Making it look clinical here, approaching that second front clip. Kind of just nosed into it. Now blending in that yellow line. Matchy-matchy there from him and Frederick Osbo. Just surgical on the course.
Well, Osbo leaving the chicane here. Let's check out the initiation. Again, very aggressive, right back on throttle. Draws that nice smooth line, stays pretty nice and high on the bank here. You can see just very consistent coming off the bank through that first inside clip. Perfect there. Now back around to the second inside clip. Links that second inside clip to that outer zone. Throttles all the way through, and so a very solid start here for our current points leader and Frederick Osbo.
All right, so Osbo awaiting his score. And we will be taking just a short commercial break, get everything reset, and we will start at the bottom of the order and work our way back up. Again, 31 drivers. 97. And again, 31 drivers. Osbo with a 97, he jumps to the lead, wow, jumps to the front of the pack. He is your #1 qualifier, a 97 from Frederick Osbo. So, can Osbo be taken down here on this second run from all the drivers? We will find out when we come back. A short commercial break. This is Advanced Auto Parts Scorched, presented by Fast Orange, round 2 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. When we return, more qualifying the second run for all the drivers when we come back. Welcome back to Orlando Speed World. We are kicking off Run 2, Advanced Auto Parts, Scorched, presented by Fast Orange. Round 2 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. I'm Jared Dienda. Joining me in the booth once again for another year, another good time, Ryan Sage, as well as we have yet to get on comms yet with Ryan Lontaine, one of our 3 judges. He gives insight onto any of the verdicts, but nothing too climatic to get his insight from. But again, Ryan Lontaine, Andy Yen, Brian Eggert are 3 judges scrutinizing the runs. Line, angle, and style. Line are the designated clipping zones. We have our first outside zone. Get as close as you can to that wall for as long as you can. Drop down to the flat portion. You got 2 front clipping points, and then the outer zone, where is denoted by the crease, the fold, the seam. We've deemed it a couple different names. Can you do that to the best of your ability? Right now, again, if you're tuning in live, our number 1 qualifier was our last driver. That was Frederick Osbo, who is our current points leader. You can see there the Fast Orange qualifying leaderboard. Osbo with a 97, James Dean with a 96, Paulig with a 96, Peter Vincic right there with a 94, Ryan Turk with a 93, and then Carney an 84 on his first score. So Dean Carney initiating Oracle Lighting, Achilles Tire, Dodge Viper. Well done by him. Look at that, just a nice consistent smoke signal. Smoke, not a criteria, but just an indication of staying on the throttle, burning the tires, keeping that momentum going. Just I say, that kind of bogs down a little bit towards the latter portion of that second outer zone, but a solid run there. Does that beat an 84?
Well, we're definitely seeing good signs here from Dean Carney. Aggressive driving, nice line. You can see smooth transition, nice initiation there. Overall, solid performance here from Dean. As he comes off the bank, you can see really tight on that inside clip. Now moving back around to that second inside clip, linking that second inside clip and that second outer zone. And then around the final turn here, good throttle all the way through is Dean Carney.
All right, so also let it be noted that unfortunately Taylor Hull, who's going to debut his Comp Cams Achilles Tire Affirm Consulting ATS-V, the Cadillac, first ever Cadillac in forms of competition. We will not be seeing him here, as he was to run before Dean Carney had some issues, so hopefully we'll be seeing him in his native state of Georgia, as we'll hopefully see him at round 3 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. Dean Carney waiting for his score. All right, so again, now we are seeing Kazuya Taguchi on the start line. All right, scores are in for Dean Carney. And it's a 90 on his second run. So this second score, the better of the 2 with a 90 for Dean Carney. Does better his first score. So a 90 puts him in a favorable position. But still, quite a few drivers left to go. Kazuya Taguchi. Achilles Tire, Up Garage, Top 1 Oil. Nissan GTR. All right, let's see what Kaz has got. Throws it in a lot more comfortable there than his first run. Higher on the bank, closer to the wall. Now brings it on down. Into that second outer zone. Quite a bit of distance between him and that front clip. So he's losing some momentum here, but throttles through the finish line.
Well, this is definitely an improvement in my books here for Taguchi, looking more comfortable in that vehicle here. You can see the initiation stays nice and high up on the bank. Big angle in the car. Does have to make a little bit of adjustment there, lacking the fluidity for just a second, but with that 70 on run number 1, I do think this will be an improvement. You can see he misses that second inside clip by a couple feet, but he is able to lock into that final zone and throttle all the way through. So good job by Taguchi to take advantage of this second run here to try to find himself better positioning in the head-to-head bracket for tomorrow.
All right, so as Ryan said, a 70, his first score. Have to think just seeing that with the naked eye. All right, so Kazuya Taguchi on his second run. And it's an 83. An 83 does better his first score. So Taguchi with an 83 on his second run does better that 70. So again, Cameron Moore, a no-show here in Orlando. Hopefully we'll see him at round 3 in Atlanta. I know he got into the wall with his vehicle in Long Beach, so hopefully we'll see him and the Moore Racing team and family in Atlanta. Matt Van Kirk, Drift-O-Matic, Nissan 240SX. Let's see what the boy from Marysville, Washington has here on his second run. He has a 66 on his first run. Plenty of room for improvement, and he's doing that right now. Nice job by Van Kirk. Really tight to that front clip. Now approaching that second. Boom, right on it. He is ticking all the boxes. Settles into the crease. Nice job. Van Kirk shows up. Again, a lot of room up for improvement off his first run. He had a 66. How much better is it going to be, Ryan?
Well, I am very impressed by his ability to take the pressure that's put upon him from that first run, that low score of 66, improve on the areas where he made mistakes. He looks much more fluid here. You can see he has a little bit of trouble with the line coming off the bank, but he's able to make corrections without making it look bad. Make some adjustments here, get back into that crease on that outside zone, throttle all the way through, and this will most certainly be an improvement on that 66. So good job to him as he is now attending his second event in his rookie season.
Yeah, that does need to be added. He is a Formula Drift rookie in the Pro Championship. We saw him in Pro 2 previous years. Seen him in Pro-Am and just progressed through the years from Evergreen Drift. Saw him at Southwest Drift Series. And now Van Kirk with a 89. An 89 for Van Kirk. Obviously smoking that 66. As next up, Kevin Lawrence, another Pro 2 driver that made some waves. He won the Pro 2 championship last year. He's back behind the wheel of his S13. Or excuse me, S14. Always throws me off with the pop-up headlights. S14.3. There is our Fast Orange qualifying leaderboard. And here comes Kevin Lawrence from right here in O-Town, Orlando. Kevin Lawrence initiates. Falls down a little bit off of the wall. About a half a car length between him and the wall. Transitions past that first front clip. A little bit of a lift. You can see him at that second hash mark. Now finds a sweet spot in the crease. Takes out that Black Magic clipping point, the finish line. It's not a clipping point, but the finish line indicator. Ryan?
Well, let's take a look here at run number 2 from Kevin Lawrence. Initiates right there. You can see a little bit of understeer in the vehicle, just barely noticeable. But we've seen that a couple times there on initiation from a few drivers. He's able to make it look not super bad and able to come out of it without making it a big mistake. Was that the wrong way to phrase that?
I don't know. It just sounded funny. Not super bad.
It looked okay, all right?
Sorry, a couple people were laughing up here, not just me.
I admit it was funny. It did have a sense of comedy to it, a sense of irony.
Right.
But Kevin Lawrence, nonetheless, sitting on a 77, makes that mistake on initiation, the not super bad initiation.
I don't even know how to combat that. All right, so Kevin Lawrence with a 76. He does not better the 77, so not super good either.
What's a good word for that?
All right, Jeff Jones, who really impressed us on his first run as an 83. I'm expecting a big score here from Jones. What do you got, Jeff? Throws it in a little late. I'm hearing the judges discuss. Look at the attitude of the car. Look, risking it, no risk it, no biscuit for Jones. Shred it, bro. Uh-oh, that doesn't sound all right. That doesn't sound super good either. Oh, it looks like shut her down. Oh man, unfortunately for Jeff Jones, that will be an incomplete run, but he does have the score of the previous run, which is an 83, so that'll stand to be the better of the two.
Yeah, you could actually hear the vehicle starting to sound like there's some sort of mechanical failure coming off the bank, but he starts off strong here, nice and high on the bank, makes a little bit of contact there, but stays in it, does not abrupt the line too much. And then right about here, we start to hear something wonky coming from the vehicle. You can see he straightens up here, does reinitiate, but the vehicle underpowered at this point and unable to finish the run. So he will have that incomplete, as you said, Jared, but sitting on that 83, a solid score nonetheless.
All right, so again, as you said, gets into the wall and changes the attitude and how the vehicle is going to run. Yeah, so also a friendly reminder, Ryan Turk will be driving his GT4586, the gum out, the bright Ferrari red, the only Ferrari-powered GT86 in the world. If you haven't seen it in person, well, you get to see it and hear it and witness it. Again, Ryan Turk will be piloting his gum out GT4586 right along immediately after qualifying. So as soon as Frederick Osbo completes, clear the track, and Ryan Turk will be out there thrashing on the Ferrari-powered GT86. Next up should be Austin Meeks. There's Jeff Jones with the incomplete run. That'll be a 0 on his second run. But as you can see, the 83 will stand to be the better of the two. So right now, all the drivers are, no, excuse me, Castro and Meeks, they both have incomplete runs. So right now it is do or die. Oh yeah, and Christoph Bluch, thank you. I missed that one. So 3 drivers currently do not have scores. Austin Meeks, Jonathan Castro, and Christoph Bluch. And hopefully Bluch gets his vehicle together, up and running. All right, Austin Meeks, that Galp Achilles tire, committed service brand S14.5 Nissan chassis. All right, Austin Meeks, hopefully making his way to the start line. Let's see what you got, Meeks. All right, so here we go. Chase, send him. Thumbs up. There we go. And the universal signal for send it. Austin Meeks. Meeks whips it real good. Not super high on the bank. You can see those yellow hash marks denoting the halfway point. They'd like to see him higher than that. Meeks doesn't seem 100% right now. He keeps it sideways, he keeps it between the lines. That will be a score, but I have to think that the car is potentially not 100% right now. But this was do or die. He needed a score.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing. He will be into tomorrow's competition, and that's what his team and himself were wanting to make happen. They did make that happen. Obviously, they've got an opportunity to practice in tandem tomorrow before the main competition and get any further bugs that are messing with them or the vehicle worked out. So he does have that score. It won't be the highest one of the session, but nonetheless, he is in to competition.
And coincidentally, Ryan, I just got a message from Austin Meeks, so not while I was driving, but I missed this, but he lost 4th gear. So he had no 4th gear. So I appreciate him kind of giving us giving even me an update. So there we go. So some reasoning there. I got the 4th gear. right. Yeah, both his spotter and Austin Meeks personally sending me a message saying, we done lost a gear. Kyle Mohan crawling his way onto the track. He is up next as Austin Meeks' score is in, and it's a 75. A 75 puts him in to 26th position. So a 75 for Meeks. Kyle Mohan, American Ethanol, Mazda Tricks. Nexen Tires, MX-5. Kyle Mohan having some issues there in Long Beach. Hopefully he gets it together. He had a solid first run. He had a score of 80. Seems that this track favors his style. Okay, and we are clear to send. And Mohan with that 80. See if he can find himself higher in qualifying. Currently sitting in 22nd. Initiates, you see him hit the go fast pedal. Some wavering there. Now blazing into the first front clip, and now the second front clip, about 2 hash marks away. Now gets into the crease. And there we go. Nice job by Kyle Mohan. Ryan, do you think that's enough to beat an 80 of his first score?
Intuitively, I think it's going to be a little bit better. It may not be a lot better, but he may have just bumped himself up a few spots in the overall lineup. Let's take a look here. You can see he does initiate, gets back on the throttle pretty quickly here. He is nice and high on the bank, which is good for the line points. You can see some wavering there, a tiny bit of wavering. Coming through the center section, you can see he slows down in that section of the course where there is that decel. And then as he tries to connect this last outer zone, he gets into it probably about at the first quarter, so he could have done that a little bit better. But I think it just intuitively, I feel like it's going to be a tiny bit better than his first run.
Not super good. All right, so
it's going to be medium better.
Medium better? Yeah, makes sense. Makes perfect technical sense. All right, Mohan waits for his score. Next up, already on the line, Farouk, an 81. So just, just medium better?
I think small better.
Small better, 81. Yeah. So it's an 81 for Mohan. The lurk of determination. Farouk with a 73 on his first run. The Reckless Racing E92 on Nexen Tires. Farouk, yeah, here we go. Reckless Racing, let's hope he doesn't live up to his sponsor's name. Looks like he's dialed in some front wheel corrections there now through the center portion. Locks it up quickly. Oh, high, gets where you don't want to be high on the bank. So gets out of shape. Fortunately, Farouk still does have a score of 73 on his first run.
I feel like this might be a little bit of small better too. But you can see he's still struggling a little bit with what plagued him in the first run, which is just not really having that settled vehicle locking into the line and angle and being smooth all the way around. But it seems to be a little bit smoother than before. You can see the bank, he has a little bit of trouble there coming through the whoops. He's able to maintain, but he does go up on the bank here a tiny bit. It's not a big mistake, but a little bit offline there. So I think there may be a small improvement here. He does have that 73, but still a few things to work on there overall for his lead run tomorrow in the head-to-head battles.
All right, so Farouk awaits his score as Federico Sharifo. It's always a fun name to say, Federico Sharifo. All right, scores are in here for Farouk. And there it is, just a little bit better, 77. You called it, Ryan. You're the Karnak.
Making claims.
claims. Federico Sharifo with his Ferrari 599 GTB Fiorino Drift Spec, aka Fiorella. Here we go. Federico, after set ablaze at Long Beach, back wants to get a better score than a 61. A 61 was his first run score. He keeps it off the wall. Twin supercharged V12. Brings it around a lot more settled. Seems like he's found peace with the car. All right, Ryan, let's look at this again.
Yeah, I think this is better too. A better, smoother initiation. He still is down on the bank a little bit, not a lot of angle there, but not as twitchy, didn't have as much movement in the vehicle. A little bit more fluid this time. So he did have that 61, Jared. You can see coming through the center section here, he is able to kind of lock onto that second inside clip. It does a pretty decent job of the second outer zone as well. Again, most all drivers have some little room for improvement all the way around, but we're seeing from run number 1 to run number 2 for the last few drivers, some pretty steady improvement here. And so we'll see how that ends things for Federico as he's looking to better a score of 61.
All right, scores are in. Does he better 61? And he does considerably with a 73. A 73 doesn't get him up there massive advancement. Still 28th position given the great variety of top-notch scores, but gets him a better score. Alex Hilbrun, Inca Madness Racing, Nitto Tire, BMW M3, El Diablo from Lima, Peru. Here we go, Hilbrun trying to better an 87. Can he do it? Wow, gets real intimate with that wall. Hilbrun down to that first front clip, rocking and rolling, gets him. Oh, you saw those whoops shake him up and just could not bounce back from that. So, unfortunately, incomplete run on his second run. He will have to be confident with an 87. 87, which is still not a schlep of a score.
Yeah, look at the back wheel here.
Oh yeah.
Let's see if we can spot where that happened. It was looking like the front end was washing out coming through that center section, but you can see with the right rear wheel coming off, that was the culprit there. I mean, this is a great start for Alex. Amazing job on the bank, and right there is probably where it came off, and you can see, yeah, he has no grip in the back at this point, at least on that side, and there it is. You see the tireless rim. That will be an incomplete for Alex Hilbrun, but a solid score of 87 to finish his day. Nothing to hang your head about. Let's look at it from this right here, Jared. Watch, it comes off.
Oh, man.
You can actually see it right there. Great job by our cameraman catching that. That was a nice job of the slow motion there.
All right, Rad Dan Burkett. Dan Burkett with an 80. The Rad Industries next entire Toyota Supra. Radical Daniel warming up his Nexen tires. Dan Burkett, originally from Washington, now living in Southern California, talked about his confidence coming in. We saw that TED Talk with Robbie the Hedgehog Nishida, formerly Bushido Blade, now hanging up his helmet for competition. And here comes Radical Daniel Burkett. Rad Industries next entire Toyota Supra. Dan Burkett with an 80 on his first run. Burkett very smooth like butter. Into the first front clip, navigates it properly. Very smooth again on that second front clip. Oh, you see some wavering there into that second outer zone. Now it seems like he found the combination. And Dan Burkett, again, does that beat an 80, Ryan Sage?
Well, we're definitely seeing some noticeable differences in Dan's driving, his aggressiveness, his comfort. And this is an example of it here. He does make a few mistakes, but let's take a look at it here more minutely. Great job on the bank. Like you said, very fluid, Jared, very smooth. Nice line being drawn coming off the bank. Lots of smoke here coming through the center section. Manages the whoops. Great job there. And then right here, just as he was reaching out towards that second outer zone, he didn't push as wide as he should. He had to connect it a little bit later. But overall, a great looking vehicle driven by a solid performer. Have Dan Burkett looking to better that 80 of run number 1.
And there's the score of an 81, just barely betters the score with 1 point. That's an 81 for Dan Burkett. All right, this is do or die for Jonathan Castro. Had such a sensational moment. I'd say it was probably the moment of the year in my eyes. It was the battle of the ages, man. It was just so phenomenal, and just to foreshadow what James Dean was going to experience and basically execute last year, the championship. I think he'll tell you that was probably one of the best battles he's ever been in, was last year here with Jonathan Castro. But now Castro fighting to hold on to being into head-to-head competition tomorrow. Just needs a score on the board. Jardot, Metal Dom, Toyota Racing, Toyota GT86 on Nexen tires, transitions into that second front clip. And again,
3, 2,
yeah, right, and
1.
boom, Castro will make it into competition. Little unnerving there for him, and I'm sure his team as well, but he will be getting a score. How big, how good, how bad, we will see. But let's walk through again, Ryan.
Yeah, a collective sigh of relief there from the team and all of his fans. Just trying to hold it together here. A pretty decent run overall. This will probably be in the 80 range or
Really?
So. I think so.
A little off of both of the outer zones.
And you can see here he is struggling there with that second outer zone. I would say maybe 80.
Okay.
Let's see what happens. We'll see where my Oracle crystal ball ends up.
All right, so here is the Goosh. Ken Gucci, Greddy Performance Parts, Falcon Tire, Toyota Racing, Toyota GT86, and Castro with a 77. I was going to say a 78. So a 77 for Castro. So Castro will be seeing competition tomorrow. Gucci, he already has a score on the board, and it was a good one, a 92 for the Goosh. He was 18th coming into this round of competition after our round 1 in Long Beach. Greddy Performance Parts, Toyota Racing, Falcon Tires, Toyota Racing GT86. Kenshiro, all white everything here from Goosh. Now into that first front clip. Nice job by him. Could have been a little closer there on that second. Now looking very poised. Look at that max angle. That counter steer was insane. Ryan?
Well, a solid second run here for Ken Gucci. Building off of that first run, it's got to be a welcome notion for him and his team here to see how consistent he's driving. Nice and high on the bank. Great throttle control. Smooth transition back around here through the whoop section. Just a little bit off that second inside clip. Goes a little bit long into that second outer zone. But then he's able to get back on and finish strong there is Ken Gucci. So as you said, Jared, a 92. He did set the bar there for at least 8 runs before he was surpassed or tied by Matt Field. Let's see how this does for run number 2. I think it's going to be in the same general ballpark.
All right, so Ken Gucci with a 90 on his second score. That puts him into 6th position. So a 92 on his first run will be the better of the two. And again, another Formula Drift rookie here with that of Dirk Stratton. Dirk Stratton, an 85 in his Lingenfelter Performance Achilles Tire Stratton Chevrolet Corvette. And here comes Dirk. Whoa, wiggling his way into the wall. Keeps it off it, really foot down. Hammer down Dirk. You see some quick correction there to make sure he doesn't hit that second front clip. Now into that second outer zone. Got out to that outside line, but it's kind of halfway through the radius of that turn. But man, Dirk Stratton not lifting.
Well, you can see why some of the Pro 2 field decided to offer that Pro 1 license. Dirk fighting for that championship last year. Came up a little bit short to Kevin Lawrence, but you can see why. He has a confidence here. Great move on initiation, very aggressive, high-risk maneuver. Is able to lock it in pretty well. Could have been a little bit higher on the bank. You can see he's a little bit shallow here or short on this second outer zone. But overall, aggressive driving. This will definitely suit him well in the head-to-head competitions. He's got that 85 on run number 1. We'll see if he's able to hold that score or build upon it. And he is now done for the day. So a great performance here in Orlando by Dirk Stratton.
All right, so Dirk Stratton, the scores are in. Does that better, an 85, and it does, a 90. A 90 on his second score. That is a 90 for Dirk Stratton. Puts him into 9th position. So well done, Mr. Stratton. Next up, Vaughn Gittin Jr. We're halfway through our top 32, or what was to be 32, because now Vaughn Gittin Jr. 16th in points, just after one round. Vaughn Gittin Jr. in the Monster Energy Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR. Now Vaughn Gittin Jr. just debuting a video yesterday there, that Raptor drifting on the Nürburgring. I don't know if you saw that. Pretty cool video. Vaughn Gittin Jr. I believe it was 89 or 84. Can't even read my own writing there. 84. Thank you for clarifying. All right, here we go. Vaughn Gittin Jr. sitting at 18th with an 84. I know he wants to better it. Oh, Vaughn. Oh! Oh, saved it. Keeps it off the wall. That's a... Over here, the judges, are they going to salvage that as a scoreable run, or is that incomplete, Ryan?
Well, whatever it was nothing less than a beautiful save. That could have been very scary. I mean, you can actually kind of see it starting to build up. Watch how fast he comes out of the gate and how fast his transition or this initiation is. Boom, right to angle, gets right on the throttle, and right here he's touching the wall. Boom, and there he notices the back end starting to be sucked in. He gets on the brakes, and I am hearing over the comms, Jared, that they are going to give that an incomplete, but you have to say with an 84, that's fine. Save the vehicle. You don't want to be here all night. And for him, here, let's take a look at it here from this perspective, Jared. Up here, this is where he's going to start touching the wall. Watch the front wheels here are turning, and then right there, he locks it up, realizes he's got to get out of this, and he's off the wall, and then at that point, he's safe. Yeah, and the tire, the gumballs, all the rubber built up, and all the tire debris. There it is. It is an incomplete run. It's official. And so again, the tire particulates will get underneath the tires, and it'll cause to slip and slide even more and go into the wall. So, as you said, Ryan, he saved that, saved the car. He will see another day. Matt Kaufman, Kaufman Racing, Thunderbolt Racing Fuel, Achilles Tires, 240SX. All right, so here's Matt Kaufman. Matt Kaufman on his first run in 80. I have a feeling he's going to push harder.
Okay, look at those 97, 96. Osbo, Dean Pollock, 1, 2, and 3. You got Vincent with a 94, Turk with a 93. So some high scores here. Ken Kaufman get up in the mix. Yes, sir. Kaufman really riding that wall for a long time. Pulling it on in. That second front clip. Look at this guy ripping. Shred it, bro. Whew. Man possessed. Gaining a lot of applause from the fans here in the building.
Well, no lack of aggression there and overall strong commitment, but he did have that mistake on that second outside zone. Let's take a look at the initiation there. Just a little bit of settling needing to happen. Really deep into that first outer zone. All the way through. Now through this center section here. Tight on that second inside clip, but you can see here he doesn't reach out to that second outer zone. He opts for that midline and then pushes out towards the end. So he'll leave a few points on the table there. He does have that 80, Jared, from run number 1. He can afford a few points off of fluidity and commitment and potentially go north of that 80. We'll have to see where he comes in. I'm seeing the line and angle scores drop at 25 apiece, so he's got 50 so far. Let's see where the fluidity and commitment come in for style. And it does look like he will better his score. Let's see what the official result is.
And he does. In 86. Okay, so in 86, yes, in 86 there for Matt Kaufman. Does better slightly, bumping him up a little bit. Next up, Michael Essa, who had an 88 on his first run. And here comes Michael Essa. Essa Autosports, BMW M3. Big angle there from Essa. You can hear him just really pinning it to win it. Fluid through the center portion, about the second hash mark, close to that front clipping point. Fairly comparable to his first run, again at 88, a good score. It's when the trend started flowing and started to see better and better scores.
Well, he does have that 88, as you said, Jared, so it's a score that you'd be willing to walk away from qualifying with, a high score. Essa nice and high on the bank. Coming down, nice fluid transition. Huge angle there from Essa. Pretty decent job on that first inside clip. And as you said, just a little bit off that second outer zone. We see a lot of drivers kind of coming in on that first quarter, or that's the first half, and then filling that outer zone. The judges really want to see you connect that inside clip, number 2, to that outer zone, number 2, red standing marker there. So we'll see how this bodes for Michael Essa, trying to better in 88.
All right. And nope, he just matches it, an 88. 2 88s there for Michael Essa, another 88 for Odie Bakshis on his first run. But after that, the one to watch is Kristaps Blue. She's the only driver left that does not have a score. So Kristaps in that Eurofighter BMW, who had just a sensational round of competition here last year. Odie Bakshis warms him up, talking about his Falcon tires, ready to throw down. Odie in a supercharged LS. Nissan, here we go. Odie Bakshis. Yes, well done. Quick to angle. Does not lift. Gets through the whoops, unscathed. And now to that second outer zone, maxing out the angle. Well done by Odie Bakshis. Ryan, is that enough to be in 88? What do you think?
Well, it may well be that second outer zone he could have done a little bit better, but overall this is a solid performance. I feel like Odie is really setting himself up well for head-to-head tomorrow. He looks extremely aggressive. He's making pretty high-risk maneuver up on the bank and pulling it off very well. You can see as he comes through, a little bit of a weird angle there, or weird line coming through that center section, but he actually makes it look pretty good. And this is the area where he could have done that second outer zone a little bit tighter, but we're just nitpicking here. Overall, solid run. It may be right around or a little bit north of that 88. Here he is coming through that center section, handling the whoops pretty well here overall. So Odie Bakji's run number 2 in the books.
All right, scores are in. And a 93, so considerable jump there, 5 points more. But again, taking the better of the two, a 93 puts him into top 5 position. So this is do or die for the Latvian. Kristaps Blush, the Eurofighter. Great looking car. Very unique, all carbon Kevlar. Leaving it kind of naked, not putting all the, covering it all up, just putting on little high vis hits here and there. So again, with a 0, he got into the wall earlier, Kristaps Blush. He needs to keep it off the wall. If he's just knowing Kristaps, I don't think he's going to play it safe. I think he's going to go for it, but nerves, hopefully he can harness them, and we will be seeing him throw it down. Here we go, Kristaps Blush initiates into that first outer zone. Look at that front right wheel. He's hitting 3-wheel motion as well. Slams down to that first front clip. Wow, look at this thing go. The Mass Motorsports V8 wound up. Like I said, knowing Kristaps, I didn't think he was just going to just tiptoe through the park here. He was just going to hammer down and did just that. That will be a score. We will be seeing him head-to-head, but how big of a score?
Yeah, I think it'll be a pretty solid score here. You can see as he initiates, he's right at the wall there.
No Chelsea, but he did have score.
And here we go through that first section, that inside clip. Good angle here. And then perfect on that second inside clip. Connects that second inside clip to that outer zone pretty fluidly. So I think this is going to be a pretty high score. I'm not sure. This is the first run going back. Remember, he taps a wall here. He's not able to get out of it. Sucks him right up. Comes back. Now these drivers don't have anywhere to really perform any kind of drifting maneuver outside of the track. So it says quite a lot to get the vehicle back up and ready to go in competition. But I think for Kristaps Blush, he's going to be happy with his performance here overall after that incomplete.
And boom, a 92 from 0 to 92. Kristaps, a solid score, puts him into 8th position. Our next driver was to be Chelsea Denofa. We heard from his spotter. He says he's going to scratch his second run, just be content with that 87 on his first score. Dio Shihara, who has a 92 as well on his first run, he's going to try to better it as well. Remember, we have the Black Magic Top Qualifier Award. Not only do they get a case of Black Magic product, but also a $500 check from Black Magic. So again, who's going to be our Black Magic Top Qualifier Award winner here at Orlando? Right now, it's Frederick Osbo. Can he be taken down? Dio Shihara initiates. Turn 14 distribution into turn 1. Very fluid. Can hear the turbocharged LS just whining, suck, squish, bang, boom. Well done by the Formula Drift veteran of 15 years, Dio Shihara. Turn 14 distribution, Falcon Tires, Subaru BRZ, Daichiro Yoshihara. So let's look at this again. Again, he's already sitting on a 92, which is an impressive score. Gives himself a safe distance off the wall. Goes in there. This is where I think he's really smooth. You see the car barely get disrupted compared to some of the other vehicles in that whoop section. Just really right on that yellow line. So Dio Shihara with that 92. Is that enough to better it? We are into the top 10 drivers now in the standings. And he does not, a 90 on his second score. So the 92 will stand to be the better of the two, his first score. Next up, Matt Field. You can hear the Corvette, the teal and blue. The Wish Borla exhaust Falcon tires Corvette. The Beast from the Bay from San Jose, California. Ryan, you're talking about it, just his comfort level in Long Beach, kind of, you know, 75%. Now, talking to him last night with his team, and they were down in the lobby, and he says he's feeling good, feeling right. Just a lot of work going into this car, and being documented on Donut Media and the Frenemies video, and he's doing a lot. He's putting a lot of content out there. I think he's getting a lot of respect that, you know, a lot of these guys do work on their car, and Matt Field put that to rest, that he definitely works on it. So he's putting in some work right now on the track. Look at that, more angle. Gangster right now, Matt Field. Into that front clip, transitions into the second. Nice job by Field. Takes a more shallower approach there. That isn't going to fare very well for him. But again, Field getting more track time. He has a 92 on his first run as well. I don't think that will better it.
Well, he started off very strong here, and again, looking at this overhead shot, initiates right back on throttle. He's very close to the wall, and he just takes that line very nicely, smooth, right up on the bank. Great job there, but comes a little unstuck here as he comes through this center section and hits this second inside clip. Right there, it looks like he just kind of loses momentum and then gets back on the throttle, so you have to wonder what happened there, but it will not match likely his 92 of run number one, but overall a strong performance for him in this afternoon's competition.
An 89 for Matt Field on his second run. So a 92 is the better of the two. Speaking of 89, Alec Honadell has an 89 on his first run. Honadell here in the Fast Orange Advanced Auto Parts Nexen tires. That supercharged V8 under the hood. He is a Floridian as well. He's from Destin, Florida. All right, so here we go. Alec Honadell on the start line with that 89. Let's see what you got. Again, in conjunction with Huddy Racing. This vehicle prepared. Here we go. Through the chicane, Honadell. Show me what you got. Get swifty. Honadell hammers down. Into that first front clip. Passes it, ripping, living up to that Fast Orange name. Yeah, locking up that front left. Yes, sir. Honadell comes out swinging.
So two solid runs back to back. We'll see where this one slots in. That 89 on run number one. You can see that nice initiation, nice and high on the bank. And then through this section of the course here with good fluidity coming off the bank. Transitions back around, hits that inside clip. Little bit, could have been a little bit more well executed on the first half of that outer zone, but overall, a nice performance there from Alec Honadell. Looking to better an 89.
All right, so Ryan Turk now warming up his tires. And a 94 for Honadell puts him into the top 5. Again, unofficial right now. It's a 94 for Honadell. Ryan Turk with a 93. So Ryan, as you said, you know, the track, it's you know, compared to Long Beach, it's more forgiving. That first wall could eat you up. But, you know, these guys just having some more confidence here coming into this Orlando Speed World track. Ryan Turk, the Gum Out Black Magic, next entire Toyota Racing, Toyota GT86. Part of the Bone Zone, him and Chris Forsberg. Get in the zone, the Bone Zone. Here we go. Ryan Turk, what do you got? Ryan Turk initiates into that first outer zone. Tries to blend into the wall, comes off it a little early, but nice ripping past that first front clip, transitioning past the second. Massive angle there. Again, already on a 93, trying to better it. Next entire smoke just filling OSW here, living up to that scorched name that we've deemed this round.
Well, again, another encouraging performance here for Ryan Turk and his team. 2 consistent, solid runs, looking to be in the 90s on this second run as well. He had that 93. You can see a lot of the work being done on that initiation and the line being drawn from the bank, now coming down off into this center section. Great job through that second inside clip, connecting at the beginning of that outer zone, comes out of it for a second, and then you can see him driving into his own smoke that's being blown off of the bank. Either way, a strong overall performance from Ryan Turk, putting down 2 clean runs. He's got that 93. We'll see how this one fares. Certainly going to be in the general ballpark. But here we go with the judges.
And speaking of Ryan Turk, he will be piloting his Gum Out GT4586 right after qualifying, and no, a 90 will be his second score. So a 93 on his first run is the better of the 2. So juiced on his first run. How we doing, Yer? As again, Gum Out GT4586 will be piloted after qualifying here. Our final driver will be Frederick Osbo, who is our current qualifying leader with a 97. Here comes the other member of the Bone Zone. We got Chris Forsberg in that NOS Energetic 370Z on Nexen tires. Running a VQ setup compared to previous years of the VK, the V8. And we're ready to send it. Here we go. Forsberg, the Force, the only 3-time Formula Drift champion. Initiating slowly into the wall. And now steps it up, ramps it up, hammer down. Into that first front clip. Avoids the whoops. Into that second front clip. And now gets into the groove and dials it in as Forsberg. All right, so Forsberg with an 89 on his first run.
Really interesting approach here, kind of coming down for Forsberg, initiating and then catching himself as he goes up the bank. Really like the way that he executed that. It serves him well as he has a very fluid, consistent line up on the bank, now coming down into the center section. Nice and tight here through that first inside clip. Connects that second outer zone very well here. And then just coming off a little bit early, looking a little bit tentative there, maybe losing some of that power through that last section of the course there. He does have that 89. See if he can break into the 90s here.
Yeah, it did sound a little weird. Even the judges made the observation the car sounded weird, kind of breaking up and had almost like a tearing sound. So interesting audible. And a 90, so he does better his first score. A 90 for Forsberg puts him into 12th, even with a 90. That's crazy, right? So, dude, you're crazy, bro. You got top 5 drivers now: Justin Pollock, James Dean, Peter Vincic, Forrest Wang, and Frederick Osbo. Here is JTP Justin Pollock in his Falcon Tires Roush Performance Ford Mustang. Justin Pollock had a 96 on his first run. You can see Pollock already in the top 3 in qualifying today on the Fast Orange qualifying leaderboard. Osbo, the guy to be with a 97. It's going to need to be near perfect. Pollock. Here we go. Aggressive flick into the wall. Keeps it off the wall. Pollock hammering down, originally from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Now in Southern California, takes out that second front clip. Gets really deep in that outer zone. Dancing, flirting with exceeding it. Man, Pollock really wants this #1 qualifying spot.
Yes, if desire was an attribute, that would definitely be the #1 qualifier. He certainly was putting it all on the line there. He as well taking that approach, locking into that initiation, holding that line. Great job by Justin Pollock. He was off the rev limiter here, then caught another gear coming through this section. Perfect on that first inside clip, just goes up on that second outer zone, but really there's not many other mistakes. And you can see he was driving with commitment. He had the fluidity, the line and angle were pretty much there. He has that 96 on run #1. I don't know if it's gonna better, but it is gonna be another solid score for Justin Pollock, who continues to look very strong in this 2018 season.
And a 95 for Justin Pollock. It does not better his first score. 96 was his first score. James Dean. Ryan made the comment that I wasn't as excited as I potentially could have been on that first run on 96, but it's just what's come to be expected from James Dean.
So when you commentate, it's gonna be like, oh, James killed it again.
James,
Nice job there.
Congrats,
he
bro.
dominated that run.
Yeah, there we go.
That sucks.
James the Machine Dean did it again. No, I'll get fully torqued if you want me to. We can get, I don't know, step it up, dude. The machine's got to throw down.
You haven't brought out a woo this year yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
Those are hard pressed.
Yeah,
right?
those are hard pressed. Little O Doctors, it's not forced. It's not contrived. It's genuine. And here we go, James Dean. So you ask and you shall receive, right? So James Dean steps it up, sticks to the wall, transitions, quick little hop, skip and a jump, bang, right on that second front zone. Oh man, and then, I mean, come on. Can't even see him. Look, first you see him, now you don't. He's out.
So if I remember correctly, you got a couple points off in two areas. One was angle and one was line, if I remember correctly. So let's take a look at this again. You can see he locks up the brake for a second, then he's right back on throttle. Very nice job on the line here by James Dean. Massive throttle coming through this center section, just a slight lift for a second, but look at the smoke line does not dissipate. You can see full commitment here. He just misses that one little tiny 6-foot section of that beginning part of that second outer zone, but he made it look very clean and smooth and fluid. He's got that 96. It's going to be right there. It may be just a point or two difference in one direction, but it's hard to say. Let's go to the judges.
All right, going to the judges, a 97, so he does better it. He is now tied with Frederick Osbo with the 97, so it's going to come down to what Osbo can do, or what can Peter Vincic, Forrest Wang, and then eventually Osbo, him being our points leader. So Peter Vincic, the Wordhouse Drift Team, Falcon Tires S15s. Here is Peter Vincic from Poland. Would you like some chocolate? The Candyman about to throw it down. Very animated Peter Vincic. Still buzzing after a podium spot in Long Beach. Let's see how sweet Candyman can make it. Peter Vincic turns on the smoke machine. More angle. Perfect, flawless run there from Peter Vincic so far. Right on that second outer zone. Exceeds it just a little bit. Flirting with it right there. A 94 on his first run. Ryan, is that better it?
I think that's a 96 or better just on the line portion of it. We'll see how the angle and style judges take a look at this run, but solid from the get-go. He's nice and high on the bank. He does have good angle through this section. As he comes through this first middle part, super tight on that second inside clip, and then there he connects it perfectly. So line-wise, it's really hard to knock this run. It's really going to come down to what he did in between those line and angle sections, and whether or not that is better than a 97. That is our current score, tied right now between Osbo and James Dean. Here we go.
And a 95 for his second run. Puts him into number 4 position. So 2 more drivers left. Forrest Wang, an 82 on his first run. he would need a 97, or you'd basically need a 98 in order to beat and be a #1 qualifier. So near perfect run. He really showed up in grand fashion in Long Beach. Can he back it up again here in Orlando? The Vaptasia Achilles tires, Get Nuts Laboratory, Sylvia S15. Forrest Wang leaves the start line. What do you got for us, Forrest? An 82 on his first run. He knew he needed more speed this year. He says the team has changed things up considerably, and it's showing right here how fast goes through that middle section into that second outer zone. This looks a little stronger than his first run because, again, remember, if you can recall, on his first run, he hit the wall, and it did change the attitude of the car, threw him off the rest of his line, but a lot more poise here.
Yeah, he certainly has nowhere to go but up, considering that 82 in run #1, had that mistake on initiation. I don't think this is going to be the #1 qualifier, but this is certainly a big improvement here. And again, Jared, as you pointed out, he is much quicker this year. He is competing at a speed level that is synonymous right there with the top guys, but he still has that big angle and huge style. So I think from an overall driving perspective, he's made appropriate changes. He's still the Forrest that everybody loves and recognizes with that huge angle and style, and I think it's going to pay off for him here in this run #2 with a pretty sizable improvement.
So our final driver and currently our #1 qualifier, or I should say, is he going to maintain to be the #1 qualifier? Because James Dean has a 97 as well and backs it up with his first run, which is a 96. So Frederick Osbo needs to get a 97, or, you know, we'll break down to the tiebreakers. But basically, in order to hold that #1 spot, he would need to get another 97 in order to hold on to the #1 qualifying spot. And there's an 89 and 89 for Forrest Wang. That is his second run. He does better it. Look at that score of 89, only qualifying 15th position right now. Okay, so Frederick Osbo, this is our final driver. Don't go anywhere. Ryan Turk and his GT4586 is hitting the track. Here we go, our final qualifying driver, Frederick Osbo, Rockstar Energy Drink. Next, entire Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla. Can he go back to back with 97s? Osbo puts the car in the right places. Transitions, barely even bothered by the whoop section, and then just puts that back right tire right on that line. Man, that could have done it. That could have sealed it.
This is paradigmatic of the true athlete, I think, that Frederick Osbo represents. When the pressure is on, when it's time to perform, he comes through time and time again. Here it is right here, a strong initiation, locks into angle, stays on that line, doesn't waver from it through this center section here. Now watch the way he links this second inside clip to the outer zone. Right there, locks it in, stays on all the way through. That was the one little mistake we saw from Dean when he got his 97. And maybe this is something that will keep Osbo out ahead if he can get a 97 or better. Here it is, perfect on that second inside clip. And then right there, he enters it on that very beginning stage of that outer zone and does not waver. So from a line perspective, you really can't make any critical judgment of that at all. It was basically perfect. Now the question is whether or not the angle is up to speed and any of the style factors are going to play a role here as we take a look at the score. But I have to say it's going to be at least a 97. He should hold it.
And did we see a perfect run? I mean, when you try to scrutinize, I would say maybe on initiation, could have been a little deeper. Didn't have that overall impact, but that's just ticking the boxes. So here we go. What are we going to see? Is he still your #1 qualifier? What's the score for Frederick Osbo on his second run? 97 once again. A 99, a near perfect run, a 99 for Frederick Osbo. Backs up a 97 with a 99. The target is definitely on his back, the Rockstar Energy Drink. Next, entire Toyota Racing Toyota Corolla is your #1 qualifier. Thank you guys and gals so much. Again, tomorrow we kick things off. Check FormulaD.com for all the updates as the GT4586 The Gumout GT4586, powered by Ryan Turk, is going to be doing some ride-alongs. But again, gates open tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Live stream begins at 10:45 local time. We have a halftime break. You know what? Go to FormulaD.com, download the app, get all the information there. On behalf of Ryan Sage and the whole Formula Drift staff, we'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you online and see you another time. This is Advanced Auto Parts Scorched, presented by Fast Orange. Round 2 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. We'll see you tomorrow. Send it, Orlando.